Hello, and welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast, where friends come together to talk about video games and our lives. As always, I'll be your host, Kata Barathe Lane. I am really super hyped for Metroid Dread. And I'm also joined
Hell
by
yeah.
Jonah Gomez. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing well. I'm actually kind of digging our new recording schedule with us doing Sundays. It's nice.
I have more energy.
Yeah.
It's not the middle of the night.
We're not
Not
all
in the middle of the night.
exhausted and dying.
And
It's not midnight for Caden.
yeah, exactly. That is our man in the closet, Wes Bates. How you doing, dude?
Happy to be back. I missed last episode, but you guys did an amazing job. I loved the debate from the last show. You guys did well. Caden, you were support. That support that you did for Borderlands. The Sis Trophy for Borderlands was phenomenal.
Yeah, baby.
It was awesome.
That being said, we're glad to have you back, buddy.
Thank you.
Speaking of having people back, we have a repeat visit from previous guest of the show, Daniel Dash. How you doing, buddy?
My powers have doubled since the last time we met.
Oh, some might even say tripled.
It's over 9,000.
What's up, guys? So glad to be back to one of my favorite podcasts ever. Thanks for having me.
Ooh, thank you. That means a lot, man.
Well, guys, I hope you stopped by the Church Hunter workshop on your way in and picked up Ludwig's Holy Blade, because it's time for the Icebreaker. All right. So our Icebreaker this time, we're just going to be talking about Dash and catching up with you, buddy, because since the last time you were on the show, you and a couple of your friends have started your very own kind of, I guess, games news-centric podcast called the NXS Games, right?
You know what, man? When I first started like writing the intros for that, I had to spell out NXS in its words because it would trip me up. So
yeah, and that's a clever name, right? Because I think it's like an abbreviation for Nexus, right? Which is
that's what I thought too. I thought it was Nexus too, but
I'm going off of what Jonah told me. So
Jonah, what is it?
It's gaming in excess, right?
Oh, that's even more clever.
But
Yeah,
what
but
did the
but it's also like Nintendo, Xbox, Sony, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, triple entendre.
Yeah, man, little wordplay magic.
Yeah, I love it. Well,
Brilliant.
I was just listening to your last episode, and I gotta say, you guys shot me through the heart with the segue or tangent that came up where you guys started talking about, physical versions of games, and back in the day when you were on your ride home and you were reading the instruction manual, and that just took me back, man. I remember when I was in middle school, my dad freaked me out because he picked me up after school and he gave me this like stern, like super serious look when I got in the car, and he was like, "We love you, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Look under your seat." And then I like go under there, and it's like Metroid Prime 2 when it just launched. Ooh. And like the whole ride home, dude, I was just like checking out that instruction manual. Just can't wait to pop that sucker in and play it.
You rip off the plastic, you crack it open, it's got that new game smell.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
A cool tiny GameCube disc.
Nothing quite like that.
For me, that memory is in a couple of things. So what you were referencing was the Super Nintendo games and just cracking those guys open, the cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
I almost want to go back in time. If like I could have one trip back in time, I would tell my younger self, keep all those cardboard cases and keep them in mint condition. Because you go look at eBay prices for SNES games in great condition and they're just like through the roof.
Dude, but it's like, it was like impossible to open those boxes though without like bending up the edges and stuff, the way that they made them.
Yeah,
it was so hard.
Yeah, even like the good condition ones have like little raggedy edges to them. But yeah, it's just like such fond memories of a ride home from, I think, Toys R Us is like what our main
Oh
spot
yeah.
was. Yeah, and
Mhm.
you know, I don't know if I could remember exactly which game, like you did with Metroid Prime 2, but like that was one instance, and another one was going to the mall on my own and getting Final Fantasy 9 and opening that up. And man, those jewel cases with the double jewel cases and the
Mhm.
manuals and all the things that came with it. Of course, back then, like pre-internet days, you had to get a strategy guide to go along with it so you could get all those like ultimate weapons and all that.
Heck
Like,
yeah.
yeah, dude, strategy guides. Sometimes there's like a Mr. K's like within walking distance from me, and they've got like old video game strategy guides in there, and sometimes I'll just pick one up to flip through it, Good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's some stuff like I had the guide for the GBA version of Final Fantasy IV, and I don't think I would have ever found out about some of the stuff in that game. Like there's like one enemy in like a in-game dungeon that has like an extremely low chance of dropping like a ribbon or something. But anyway,
Cool. Um,
Nice.
Dash, a little bit more about Nexus. Tell me about your mates, because I don't
yeah,
know a whole lot about those guys, other than like
Yeah.
just listening to the show.
Yeah, so I actually, they're my friends in person. We're all in the same city and we all actually work together. And when I first I've known Jeremy a lot longer because we've been working a lot longer. But then when I first met Kevin, I'm like, ooh, one day I'm gonna get that guy and we're gonna do like a podcast together. So I was like planting the seed, and we started like chatting a whole lot more, just the three of us, sort of privately over the last couple of years with, just like COVID, we just have a lot more time at home playing the games and all that. So we just had this group chat, and we like would send each other news and talk about the news and just have a lot of really good conversations. And then obviously I'd been on your guys' shows. I've been on another show and seeing a lot of friends that have podcasts. And the three of us started talking and realized, hey, we do a lot of talking in our group and we do a lot of talking on Twitter, but they're not the best mediums to get like really good hearty conversations of gaming. So we were already having these conversations. We're like, why not put it out in a podcast and make it entertaining and cover all of like sort of the timely news? And that's what we do week in and week out. It's a weekly show. We record on Thursdays. It's usually the three of us. Sometimes we have a guest. We got to get all of you guys each to guest. Wes has
that'd be fun. Yeah,
collaborated with us a couple of times, and yeah, we talk about what we're playing and then also talk about the news. Occasionally, we have time to do some video editing, and we do like previews and reviews as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
cool.
you just got your first review out not that long ago, I think, right?
Yeah, I did a review for Song of Iron, which was an indie game that dropped on Xbox about a month ago. And yeah, that was really fulfilling. It's like we typically do review discussions where it's me and another person, but sometimes timing doesn't work out for it. So for that one, I'm like, what if I just write a script for it and sort of just narrate the review? And I did that, and I was pretty proud of how that turned out. Turned out
Nice,
pretty
man.
good. Got the attention of the indie developer, the solo indie developer of that game, which was great. And yeah, happy to do more of
Wow,
those.
That's cool.
Yeah,
yeah, that's awesome.
I like the format that you guys have with your video content. Your video review is more formalized, but you've got a number of other um pieces where you guys just sit down and kind of like watch gameplay and talk about the game, kind of similar to like the quick looks for Giant Bomb, and it's just kind of freeform. Jeremy and I did a preview for instance, for Tales of Arise, based on the demo, and that was just a lot of
That
fun,
was
just sitting
good. Yeah,
down and just kind of talking about the things that you liked and the things that you don't, and the things that are good and bad, and just kind of having a real casual chat. And it's super great to be able to watch the gameplay while you're talking, and I just love that format.
Yeah, I mean, we love it as well. And our podcast shows, each one runs about 2 hours, and not everyone has time to sit through a 2 hour episode on YouTube or on a podcast service. So maybe there is someone out there that is just interested in Tales of Arise. So videos like that, where they're just like 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 30 minutes long, dedicated to one game, whether it's a preview or review, is yeah, we think it's very worthwhile and valuable.
yeah, and I'll say too. I actually, because anyone can kind of just regurgitate headlines, but I actually really appreciate your guys' takes. Like especially I was listening to your Kena conversation or Kana. It's Kana, right? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
Kana.
Yeah, Kana.
But I really appreciated your discussion about kind of the controversy around it, not having reviews out until like the day of release, which can sometimes seem like a really bad sign, especially for AAA games. But you know, you guys are kind of busting the stigma of that around indie games, which was really cool because you know sometimes they don't have the luxury of getting the game even in a playable state before launch. You know, they got to get those day one patches out, and you know that game crushed reviews. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
yeah,
did.
it was cool.
When a game like that, people forget that that's a small studio. That's their first game. And they have like less than 20 people at that studio. And they're already scrambling to make that game in the middle of a pandemic. So I think when the game looks as good as it does, that line is blurred between the big studio games and these indies. So yeah, I think people need a reminder of that.
Have you guys
Yeah.
seen Ember Labs' last project they did before Kana?
No,
Oh, dude, you gotta look check
Yeah.
it out. They
Is it
did,
the Majora's Mask
yeah,
thing?
they did this
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome Majora's Mask
Oh,
thing,
I have seen that.
and
That's
it's
yeah,
like,
that blows my
oh,
mind.
dude,
I
yeah,
forgot that was them.
same team, man, and they
So
crushed it
cool.
on that thing.
Yeah, can Nintendo just hire them to like make a like animated Majora's Mask series on
Oh,
Netflix or something? Like
oh.
That would
Yeah,
cool.
be
man.
Well,
sweet.
yeah,
We've been playing it, loving it. I know Wes, you've been
mhm,
playing it as well. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished it last night.
sick.
I'm about
Yeah,
halfway
great.
through, I think. So, I'm digging it.
All right, boys. I'm gonna turn things over to the
Hang on,
judge.
wait.
Oh,
I have one more question for Dash before we
premature judging.
turn it over.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I just a quick question. So how's the BB and Tina playthrough coming along?
we got a full hands-on preview or review and impressions coming for you soon. So
Yes.
hang tight, hang tight.
Very cool.
That's
All
awesome.
right.
All right,
And
sorry.
now,
No
without
worries.
any further ado, I'll turn things over to the judge, Jonah Gomez.
All right, everyone. We have a doozy of a debate. Some might say the greatest game debate, or maybe the most ultimate debate. Today, we have our buddy Dash representing Xbox versus
Let's go, baby!
Wes Debates himself representing good old PlayStation. You
Just call
heard
me-
it.
Just call me Tony the Sony Pony, baby.
All right, friends, we are tackling the big dog, the ultimate debate, the console wars themselves. We are doing Xbox versus PlayStation. Okay, I'm going to go back through the rules. We got 2 minutes for the intro, 2 minutes for your rebuttal, and 2 minutes for your closing thoughts. Dash. Heads or tails, my friend?
Playing to win, man. We're gonna get heads.
I'm sorry, but
confidence.
tails. Wes, would you like to start or finish the debate?
I'll let Dash start.
Ooh.
Oh, confident.
Ooh, okay. Let me get my timer up, and then we will get started. Dash, are you ready
I'm
to
ready.
debate? All right, man. I got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready, set, go.
First, I'd like to say it's an honor to be here at the Great Game Pass debate. Oops, I'm sorry. I mean, Great Game Debate. I get them mixed up because all the games you guys love happen to be on Game Pass. Destiny 2, Hades, Dragon Quest, Hollow Knight, Doom, Wolfenstein. Shall I go on? This show should pretty much be getting money from Microsoft because you guys cover so much Game Pass content. And when we're talking about Game Pass, the greatest value in gaming, We're talking about over 300 games. Is it all quantity? No, it's quality. In those 300 games, over 200 of them are scored above 80 on Metacritic, and almost 30 of them above 90. So it's pure quality you're getting at an incredibly low price. Oh, EA Play, you ask? You mean the Game of the Year Dragon Age Inquisition? That's on Game Pass. Mass Effect, the whole trilogy, that's on Game Pass. The best first-person shooter ever, Titanfall 2, that's on Game Pass.
Hell yeah.
I like PlayStation, but when my friends ask me, hey, what console do I go for? I recommend Xbox. I recommend the Xbox ecosystem because it's the best value in gaming right now, and that's going to cover the needs of most gamers. And basically, at this point, for $50 less than the price of a PS5, you could get an Xbox and 3 years of Game Pass. And 3 years of Game Pass for $50 less than Xbox. All right, and you got some of the most iconic franchises on the way. We're talking about Halo. We're talking about Starfield. We're talking about the next Gears of War. We're talking about Redfall and Avowed. All those iconic franchises like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, you're not going to find them on PlayStation anymore. They're only on Xbox.
Very, very strong start, man. That was... Woo! You got me sweating already. I'm sweating for you, Wes. Woo! How you feeling, man?
That was a great start to the debate for Xbox.
Okay.
Have to give it to Dash.
All right.
Doing a great job so far.
You ready to get your great start?
I will do my best
All right.
to represent lowly PlayStation.
All right. Your debate will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
God of War, Gran Turismo, Dark Cloud, Spider-Man, Gravity Rush, Bloodborne, Little Big Planet, Jak and Daxter, Nex Machina, Ratchet & Clank, Infamous, Persona 5, Dreams, Uncharted, Resistance, Detroit Become Human, Journey, Shadow of the Colossus, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Neo, Death Stranding, Metal Gear Solid 4, Heavy Rain, Radiata Stories, Demon Souls, Astrobot, Tearaway, Days Gone, Puppeteer, Horizon Zero Dawn, Concrete Genie, Siphon Filter, Until Dawn, The Last Guardian, Rogue Galaxy, The Unfinished Swan, Everybody's Golf, God Hand, Street Fighter V, Ico, Returnal, Higher, which is a great game by Supergiant Games that everyone should play, The Order 1886, Resogun, Solar Ash, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, Flower, The Last of Us, Flow, Wipeout the Omega Collection, The Legend of Dragoon, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Pathless, Deathloop, White Knight Chronicles, Kena, Bridge of Spirits,
30 seconds.
FIS Fist Forged in Shadow Torch, 13 Sentinels, Freedom Wars, Killzone, Medieval, Chrono Cross, Zombie Nation, Alien Nation, Dragon's Crown, Sly Cooper, Parappa the Rapper, Unjammer Lammy, Knack, Valkyrie Profile, Loco Roco, Matterfall, Patapon, PT, Super Stardust, Breath of Fire 3 and 4, 3D Game Heroes, Alundra, Ghostwire
5
Tokyo,
seconds.
Heavenly Sword, Pragmata, Forspoken, Sifu, Wolverine, KOTOR Remake, Final Fantasy 16,
That's
all on
time.
PlayStation.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, Wes. I was like, okay, he's gonna start listing off some big dogs, and you just kept going. You just kept rolling with it, and you know what? That's one hell of an opening statement for sure. All right, Dash, how are you feeling after that one? You ready to rebut?
I'm so ready to rebut.
All right, your rebut will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Nice list, and your total comes out to $17,332.48. That's the cost of all of those games right now on PlayStation. On Xbox, you're paying $15 a month and you're getting access to the biggest library of games, the best quality of games available for download. Talking about game preservation, PlayStation doesn't care about game preservation. Jim Ryan, or I should call him Jim Ryan, doesn't care about old games. Old games are old. Xbox is the only platform that is supporting backwards compatibility. And not only that, it's got FPS boosts on older games and adding HDR. You guys like Banjo-Kazooie? Hell yeah, you guys like Banjo-Kazooie. How do you like it in HDR? You got it on Xbox. All right? So while PlayStation is shuttering down iconic game studios like Japan Studio, Microsoft is helping out some of these really creative studios, getting the financial help that they need, like Arkane, like Obsidian, like Double Fine, to make some of the best games that they've ever made. PlayStation is great and all, lots of cool games, but they're out of touch. Did you see their last showcase? It was diamond studded. They think that they do interviews with the GQ. Phil Spencer, that guy fucks. Jim Ryan, he's an out of touch old and he's a liar. He said that they're all about generations. They're all about generations. Yet all the games, all the games on PS5, the best ones, are cross-gen. You could find them on PS4. You want to talk about iconic mascots? Right. Mario has.
15 seconds.
Nintendo has Mario. Xbox has Master Chief. PlayStation, Crash Bandicoot. Oh wait, no, they don't have Crash Bandicoot anymore. They sold that off to Activision. They sold out. And
That's
it's his
time.
trophy.
Oh, it's his trophy.
All right. Yeah, I just want to touch again on backwards compatibility because there's certain games that I'm just dying to play that I just can't because I don't own an Xbox. Like a big one for me is Lost Odyssey. Some people consider it like one of the greatest JRPGs of all time, and like, you know, it's 360 era, but you know, if I'm plugged into, I got Xbox Series S or whatever, I just pop that bad boy in and we're done. If I want to play like Onimusha 4 for PS2 or something, I'm fucked.
Time. God, you guys are gonna make me edit so much right now. All right, Wes, how are you feeling after that rebut? That was a pretty good rebut.
It was very good. Dash, you're doing an excellent job defending Microsoft.
All right.
Good job. So,
I'm a man of Microsoft.
I can tell. I can see that OG cube in the back over there.
That's innovation right there.
All right, Wes, are you ready to get your rebut in?
Let's do it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, rebut.
So I'm not here for console war nonsense. I am not going to sit here and tell you that the Xbox is a bad piece of hardware. It's a very powerful piece of hardware, as Microsoft likes to tout. And, you know, if you want to talk about marketing, sure, Xbox clearly has better marketing than PlayStation. But I'm not here to talk about marketing. I'm here to talk about games. And as I've just said in that 2 minutes of reading a list, those are all games that you cannot play on an Xbox. Those are all games that are only on PlayStation. So we're talking about out of date. Who cares? As long as the games are good, and the games are fantastic. I've had some of the best experiences this year on PlayStation. Dash will tell you what his game of the year is, and it's Returnal, as far as I understand. So PlayStation has great games. One thing I will say about Microsoft is I've never seen a company try to make itself so unnecessary with its hardware as Xbox does. At this point, the Xbox itself is meaningless. It's pointless. There's nothing that you need an Xbox for, because everything that you can play on Xbox, you can also play on a PC, probably better. So I don't really understand the, you know, what you're buying here at this point is not Xbox. It's Game Pass, and Game Pass is great unless you're like our friend Steven, who has internet outages. And as soon as the internet goes out, guess what? You're not playing games because there's an internet connectivity check on all of those games. And if you don't have the internet, Game Pass won't do you a darn lick of good. because those games will be useless. You will not be able to play them at all. That's all I have to say about that.
Ooh. All right, Wes, just a reminder, you still have your assist trophy for your closing thoughts. Dash, how are you feeling? He took a cheap shot straight to your heart, man. Going for your
I was
your
surprised
goatee.
by that low blow. I didn't realize we were doing that, but okay.
All right, Dash, are you ready for your final thoughts?
Yes.
All right, sir. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Here's what you get with Xbox. This beautiful design lab created controller. Here's what you get with PlayStation. BB and Tina at the horse ranch, okay? Quality over shovelware. Here's another thing. 23 studios. That number is only growing. Can PlayStation keep up? Xbox has always been revolutionary. They were the first ones to do HD. Halo redefined what first-person shooters are on consoles. Gears of War redefined the cover shooter. Would Uncharted even exist without Gears of War? Xbox Live revolutionized online playing, online chats, back when PlayStation had a modem and 56K you had to attach to it. Xbox Live Arcade revolutionized digital game purchases. Game Pass is revolutionizing game subscription services. xCloud is making Xbox available to all players. Xbox is a platform for all players, not just the premium diamond-studded customers that could only pay the $500 price. With Xbox, you'll actually be able to use your Xbox One pretty soon to play next-gen games with xCloud, as well as a PC. PlayStation is a great brand, but it's met its match. Every console has had a stumble, but they've recovered in a major way. PS3 stumbled and followed it up with the amazing PS4. Wii U stumbled and they followed it up with the Switch. Xbox One stumbled and the Xbox Series X is here to shine and followed it up. PlayStation, all they've revolutionized is a giant trackpad that's used as a start button and PlayStation Move controls that are more useful in bed than actual games.
Are you done?
I thought that was my time.
Oh,
my time?
you had.
Oh,
like,
I still had more time?
You had like 8 seconds. You want to use that?
Okay. Yeah, no.
You got 3 seconds.
Xbox is the most consumer-friendly console maker out there. PlayStation is the exact opposite of that.
I love that. I love that so much. All right, Wes. It's time for your.
I'd like to open with my assist trophy, please.
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Let me add an additional 30 seconds onto this. Caden, are you ready to start Wes's debate?
Yes.
All right. An extra 30 seconds on the clock, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
What's that smell? The sweet blood. Oh, it sings to me. It's enough to make a man sick. Beasts all over the shop. Well, a hunter is it? Ah, tonight. There's something different in the air. Men leave as hunters and return as beasts. Let there be no doubt. If it moves, you can be sure it's a beast. And if it doesn't, well, don't take any chances.
That's time. All right, Wes, go ahead.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Caden. So, I just want to say, as great as Game Pass is, at this point, Microsoft, they had a really great showing at E3, but up to this point, it's all smoke and mirrors. You know, we don't know if any of those games are actually going to come out. You remember a little game from Platinum that was supposed to come out involving dragons that never did? Yeah, well, that could happen with any of these other games. And Sony's been around for 25 years in this business. They're very experienced. Xbox has been around for a while too, but that's 25 years of greatness, and they worked up to it. Microsoft is buying their way into greatness. All those Big Daddy Warbucks, deep pockets, you know, that's not their innovation. They're just buying into it. Sony got some great studios, and they're going to keep pumping stuff out. You know what I'm excited to play next year? God of War. Halo is going to be fantastic, but it pales in comparison to mine or pretty much anybody else's that I know's interest in God of War Ragnarok, which is going to be amazing. Spider-Man 2 is going to be amazing. So, yeah, you enjoy your Game Pass. I'll enjoy the games that I own. That's fine. And you know, I have a hard time thinking that that there's going to be anything that comes out in the reasonable future that gives me the feelings that I felt when I played The Last of Us Part 2. That's right. I'm doubling down on my Ellie debate with this Ellie Nendoroid that I purchased because that character means so much to me. Because that's what PlayStation means to me. They create experiences that I'll never forget. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Very, very nice. Another tough debate. A very, very tough debate. Ooh.
Wes, you brought it.
Yeah, you both brought it. You both brought it really well, and this is gonna be a tough one for me to judge. You know what, Caden? I kind of want to hear your thoughts.
No.
And get your vote first.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it. Wait, just remember, Roddy out of stories. PlayStation 2,
which I can't play on modern PlayStation consoles. So
yeah, another franchise like Metal Gear Solid you can't play.
Yeah, unless you want to mess around with PS Now, which I don't. But anyway, you know, Wes got a little dirty there at the end. You know, he's going for the cheap shots, stoking the console flames, even though he said he wasn't going to do it. But you know, I feel like Dash really offered some concrete, helpful information about Xbox to the consumer. And I really appreciated that from a consumer perspective. And I think based on the arguments, if I didn't own either and I was trying to decide which one to buy, I'd probably get an Xbox just for the pure value. So I think I'm gonna give it to Dash on this one.
Ooh, you know what?
I
am gonna say this because there are two like big issues with both the Xbox and the 360 and the PS3. And neither of you guys touched on them, but like there was a whole network issue, PlayStation Network issue that Dash didn't touch on for his rebuttal. And
I had it in my notes, but I didn't say it.
And Wes, you didn't even say anything about the Red Ring of Death. Wow,
dude. We're talking contemporary. This is now.
I guess.
I like to live in the present, Jonah.
Yeah. I like to live in the present. All right.
As he names off Legend of Dragoon.
Oh,
right to the heart.
Oh man. You know
what?
One
of my favorite games.
There's one thing that Dash brought up, and it was if you're trying to bring somebody new into the game space, recommending an Xbox Series S with Game Pass is like the easiest way to do it. They get over 300 games, and they get like a decent console, a very decent console. So
I literally have. I recommend Xbox all the time.
I have too. But my pick's gonna have to go with Wes because you got to go with that PlayStation powerhouse. He showed us all of the games that we have. Yeah, it might be diamond studded, but you know what? I've stuck with PlayStation for the last 2 years. Not saying that Xbox is bad, by no means. I genuinely wish I had an Xbox too, but I can play most of those games on a PC, so I'm gonna have to go with PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw those leaks, right?
I'm genuinely surprised because I feel like Dash definitely did. He brought better points to the table, I think, in favor of Xbox than I did for Sony.
And,
no,
you know,
Dash, you did a fantastic job. It was a very tough pick for me, but I'm just kind of sticking with PlayStation with this one. Wes brought the points that I agree with.
I thought Wes did an amazing job. Yeah, that's completely fair.
And of course, our customary disclaimer that we all appreciate both these systems.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
It's a fun debate. Don't send us bombs
Reason
in
why
the
I'm holding
mail.
up a PS5. PS5.
Okay, but
Wes, you threw me off, by the way, when you said BB&T. I was like, no, don't mention that. I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything about it because that was my PlayStation prop.
that was his trump card.
Yeah.
Okay, before
You mean that's not on Game Pass?
It's not.
before we talk about last week's winner, Dash, can you go in a little bit more on what that game is, BB and Tino? Is that a PlayStation exclusive?
I believe it is. I don't think I've seen it on Xbox. It's available on PS4 and PS5. I can check to see if it's on Xbox as well. It actually started as a joke. I think Kevin from our show brought it up, and I think he might have even been responding to Wes on Twitter. And we started checking out videos of this, and we saw how bad of a game it was. It was shovelware. So Kevin and I each bought this, and we're planning on at some point covering it with the video.
Gosh,
Just
that's hilarious.
having a little bit of fun. But yeah, it's kind of just like a horse ranch like simulator.
Does it use the haptics on the PS5?
That's what I wanted to bring up, the haptics on the controllers, and I totally forgot to do that.
That would have been a good
during my
one.
debate.
Yeah.
Darn it, missed opportunity.
I don't know if it does or not. It doesn't say it on the back of the box.
Okay. All right, we'll get back on track. For our debate last week, we had Rob Hudak representing Destiny with 8 votes. And we had Ryan Stabell representing Borderlands with 5 votes. Rob Hudak, you are a winner of the debate last week, taking it away with 3 votes.
Congratulations.
Congrats,
Nice
Rob.
job, dude. All right, Caden, that's all I got for this debate. I'll pass it back to you, man.
Well, I think we're about to hit the halfway point, so why don't we take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and we're going to get right into our next segment, which is the pitch. Just a reminder, everyone, we'll go around and you'll have 2 minutes to pitch a game you've been playing, and the rest of us, as the chairman of the board, will decide whether or not we will purchase your game. So for the benefit of our guests, so you can see how it's done, we will let Wes go first. Do you want me to count you down?
Please.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So, how many of us here enjoy 2D Zelda likes? Anyone?
I do. Yes.
How many of us here enjoy beautiful pixel art? How many of us?
I must say.
How many of us enjoy quirky games with very quirky characters like Earthbound?
Yes.
I do.
Well, then you might be interested in a little game called Eastward, my friends, because it scratches all of those itches. Eastward is a 2D indie from a new developer called Pixpill. It's been in development for quite some time. Just released on Switch and PC. Yeah, it's $25, but it is a meaty experience. I mentioned it's kind of a Zelda-like, and it is in terms of the combat. You play as a kind of an older, grizzled man. Think of like a pixelized version of Joel if he didn't talk. His name is John, and he finds a little girl in kind of like a suspended animation chamber. Her name is Sam, and he kind of adopts her. They live in an kind of underground city in a kind of supposedly post-apocalyptic type of situation, and supposedly all the land above is like contaminated and nobody wants to go up there, but they end up getting kind of like exiled and going on all sorts of adventures. It has multiple weapons. The action is simple but very fun. You go through environments, traversing around. There's light puzzle solving in every environment. Very, very story heavy and story driven game, and it moves at a pretty fast pace. I'm only about 9 hours in, and there's been a ton of interesting turns and twists to the game.
All right, you say Zelda-like. Is there anything Is there an analog to like Zelda dungeons in this game?
Yeah, so it's not like I'm going to send you over here to this dungeon. You know, all of the dungeons are more like parts of the landscape. It's like, so you have to retrieve an item from the old forest or something like that. So you have to go
Mhm.
through the old forest, and the old forest is set up, and there's usually some kind of like interesting gameplay twist that's only present in the old forest. Like
Oh, so
you
you're
have to.
saying they've got the Lost Woods in this game?
No, that's not what I said. It was an example.
Oh,
Attention,
okay.
That
Jeff.
was it. That was an example.
Okay.
Like, so you may have to go through an old factory or something.
Okay.
And
They've got the Lost
you know,
Factory. That's what it is.
so the characters as you go, yes, they have the Lost Factory, Jonah. As the
I'm sorry.
characters as the characters move through, you can actually separate. Normally, when you're walking around, it's like one of the characters just follows the other, and you can switch between the two. And they each have their own skill set. So John is the fighter, and then Sam has psychic powers, and she
Ooh.
can shoot like psychic blasts that stun enemies and like hold them still if you don't want to engage and just run past them. And you have to kind of use that two-person aspect to do a lot of the puzzle solving. Like one person may have to go over here and stand on a platform so the other person can move through, or you may have to use your specific abilities to make way for one of the other characters. And it's nothing too complicated, but it's very engaging to go through. If that makes sense. And
Yeah,
it
for
usually those areas usually culminate in the end with a boss fight, where after you beat the boss fight, you get an extra heart on your health.
Oh. Wow.
Although, like,
Dopamine.
So, my question for you is,
Yeah.
matching all my other questions for every other pitch because I am not creative. What are what are the cosmetics like in this game? Are you able to get different gear and change the way you look, different
No, so there's no
weapons and stuff?
armor. There's no armor in the game. So what you get is you kind of you collect the equivalent of heart containers to increase your health. There are multiple weapons though. So I've got 3 weapons so far. Spoilers for the weapons. You start with a frying pan as your main melee weapon.
Nice.
Then you pick up a shotgun for your second weapon, and the third weapon is a flamethrower.
Wow.
Dick.
So,
That's drastically
and there is at least one more weapon, and the weapons have like multiple uses. So you don't just use them for fighting. For instance, the frying pan, you get to a point later where there are these rafts, and you have to cross a river. You use the frying pan to hit a like a rubber buoy on a pole, and it bounces the raft in the other direction and pushes you across the river. And then the flamethrower can be used to like clear debris, like plant debris, to move through areas. And like I said, Sam has her own unique move and skill set as well as you go through.
That's interesting.
So it definitely seems like there's items to collect, and there's your skills definitely expand as you go through the game.
how many questions do I get? Because I have several.
Just try and
Yeah.
keep it to
Well,
like 2 or 3.
One or two.
I'll do one. So, I'm really interested in this game, but a couple things kind of turned me off from it. It's one, I'm wondering if it's a slow burn. If you're telling me you start with a frying pan, how long do you have that frying pan? And I know it's a longer game, and I'm looking to take my Switch with me on a flight. Is it a good? Yeah, you get into the action right away, and is it a good game for like a 5-hour flight?
Yeah, I mean, you're fighting enemies within the first 20 minutes, I would say, of the game. Like I said, it is a very narrative heavy game. So, in between the action and the dungeons, there is a lot of story. You go into towns and cities, there are a lot of NPCs that you talk to. There's side quests to be done. There's treasure to be found. And there's a lot of secrets off screen. You at the very beginning of the game, you can buy an item that pings the closer you get to secrets. So you're like, oh, there's a secret around here, and you start looking around. Oh, here's a secret passage over here. I can go up here to this secret hidden room, and oh, there's a heart container here.
So
There's
is there like upgrade paths or like leveling in this game to like
no. It's not an RPG in the sense that you level. It's like more in the sense that what it does have, it has a cooking mechanic. So if you need a little bit of extra help, it's very similar to what I'd say Breath of the Wild's cooking, where you find ingredients, you combine them in a pot, and then you come up with different dishes. And depending on the dish that you cook, you get maybe different buffs. So you might be able to move faster, or some of the hearts become like they turn in from like a red heart to a yellow heart, so you can take twice as many hits per heart. Um,
Okay.
and so there's some incentive in looking around, collecting ingredients, and cooking. And the cooking has an interesting aspect too, because whenever you cook, there's a roulette wheel that spins, and if you are able to make like 3 pairs or even 2 pairs, it'll buff your recipe for whatever you made. So that's fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I am curious, are there like items like in Zelda, like key items, or are you using like your main weapons as like versatile tools to solve puzzles?
So far the tools that you find are the items,
Cool.
the weapons. But I'm only like 9 hours in, and it seems to be like expanding the abilities that you have as you go through. So when you first start out the game, you can't separate Sam and John, but as you go through the game, you start to be able to switch between them, and then you can separate them. You can leave one behind and move ahead.
Sick.
And so it's got that kind of thing where it seems to continue like feeding you kind of like this breadcrumb trail of additional things that you can do. Oh, I
Mhm.
should say, you do actually get more tools because John has bombs also. You pick
Of
up bombs
course.
fairly
Can't be a
fairly
Zelda game
early
without a
on.
bomb.
Yeah, you can like place a bomb and then hit it with your frying pan to like knock it
Ooh, that
across like
sounds
gaps and
satisfying.
stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Well, Jonah, based on what you've heard, are you buying this game or not?
Hang on,
Uh,
I have one more. I have one more thing that might
oh,
interest you. There's one more thing. I should have mentioned it in the original pitch, but this game has an entire full-on JRPG metagame built inside of it called Earthborn. That's basically
What?
a riff on Dragon Quest, and you can play through the entire thing in the game, and you can buy these the equivalent of like in-game amiibo that are like little collectibles that will give you item buffs in the mini game. And so you walk up to an arcade cabinet and you have like a save card you can put it in and like keep playing your game for Earthborn um in from
How
town to
much of a
town.
time investment is this in-game game we're talking about here?
I haven't played that much of it yet, but it seems like fairly deep. It seems like playing like a Dragon Quest on Game Boy
Wow,
style game, and it's got its own characters and
that sounds great.
its own thing. So you can sink I think quite a bit of time into that to try to beat that.
I wonder what the
Does it
outcome
feel like a
is
pretty
to that.
essential part of the game?
As up to this point, it's brought up in the story because characters like to play it, but there's no like repercussions if you don't want to do it, at least at this point.
Hmm,
Cool.
that's cool.
Because
All right.
I haven't touched almost any of it at all. They have like a
Mhm.
tutorial section. It seems to me it's kind of like Gwent in The Witcher 3. It's
Mhm.
like a nice pastime if you want to invest in it,
Yeah,
but not something that you have to.
Gotcha.
very cool. All right, so what do you think, Jonah?
You know, for $25, that's not a bad deal. I've been looking for another game to pick up on my Switch too, because I can now use my wireless earbuds on it, which is super nice. So yeah, I think I'll dive in on this. I might actually pick it up right after the show. So
Wow, cool. Yeah, for myself, I'm completely enchanted. I definitely want to jump in, probably as my next game. And ever since I beat Death's Door, I've just been jonesing for another Zelda-like. So seems like this is the one to scratch that itch. What do you think, Dash?
Yeah, I think so too. I'm with you, Jonah. I'm probably gonna buy it right after this because yeah, I am going on a flight in a few days, and I was looking for a really good like Switch game to play like both ways. That's about 10 hours right there. And
Wow.
my favorite Zeldas are the top-down Zeldas,
Hmm.
and so many things you said, like bombs and acquiring items to help you clear paths and all that. So much of that reminds me of those Zelda games. So
All
I'm
right.
in.
Nice. I don't think you'll be sorry.
Thanks for
um,
It's
request.
definitely going to be high on my top 10 list this year, I think.
quick apology for the wailing in the background. We had a spider
Yeah.
crisis.
Oh
The
no.
Understandable.
crisis is at bay for right now.
The spider might be back
So they
later.
called in the Spider-Man to deal with it.
The prequel to Dino Crisis.
But if you
Spider
hear
crisis.
more wailing in the background, I'm sorry, my daughter saw another spider. So we'll get it taken care of.
Fair enough. All right. Stepping right up next to the pitcher's mound is Dash. What you brought for us? Oh, well, let me count you down. Let me get the timer ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Step into a loop you'll love to death. We're talking Deathloop. I know some of y'all like Hitman. Some of y'all like Dark Souls, not Jonah. Some of y'all like BioShock. What if they had a threesome and birthed a beautiful, beautiful child? That child is Deathloop.
I don't think that's
You
how
play
it
as
works.
Colt. You
Sorry.
play as Colt, and you find yourself waking up on an island called Black Reef, and you find yourself reliving the same day over and over again, like Groundhog Day. You find that there are a group of scientists and artists called visionaries that control this loop, and in order to break this loop and escape this hell nightmare that you just keep repeating over and over again, you have to kill those visionaries. Problem is, one of those visionaries is constantly hunting you down. That's Juliana. That is an AI controlled player that can invade you, similar to a Soulsborne game where you can get invaded, oftentimes by an AI, but you can also change the settings so that your friends can invade you or other players can invade you. This island is a beautiful, eclectic, colorful mess with 60s era swanky clubs, theme park installations, science labs, urban neighborhoods, and more. So there's so much beautiful art style to soak in. It's an immersive sim made by Arkane. It's available right now on PS5 and PC. It gives you these incredibly cool sandboxes
30 seconds.
and lets you navigate through these areas to essentially get leads so that you can find better and most effective ways to kill all these the visionaries in one day. And the game's split up into 4 districts, and each of them have a morning, noon, afternoon, and nighttime cycle. You could sort of fast forward to whatever time you want. It's got roguelike elements. However, you can keep and infuse a lot of your weapons. You use the in-game currency so that you get permanent equipment you can keep.
All right. I've got something I'm very curious about this game because it seemed like a misconception at first, and then more information came out about it. So I'm interested to hear your experience. How much time you put in this game, by the way?
Probably like 20,
Okay,
22 to 25 hours.
perfect. So I heard this common complaint that like the AI was too easy or the enemies were too dumb. But then later I heard that like in a run, the more visionaries you kill, it like heats up the AI and they get like more dangerous. So like, what's your experience with that? Basically, is what I'm asking.
I think as you power up, there are times where it feels like a little bit of a cakewalk. You start getting
Mhm.
really strong and just dominate, and you could be sloppy. You know, I myself was using the abilities, the slabs, and finding ways to like pin enemies, teleports to them, and I was just slashing them, and it got pretty easy early on. I was terrified of them. They're very intimidating. And then there are aspects of it that are very difficult, especially towards the end where there are a ton of enemies to navigate through. And that is that's where like stealth really pays off.
Okay, cool. You guys
So
got any other questions?
I've got a question. So the it's hard to kind of categorize this game, at least from the marketing. I think when they showed a lot of it early on. Some say too much.
I say too
Um,
much.
Jonah said too much,
I said too much.
and so
so.
but even so, you know, it still kind of was hard to understand like what type of game this is. Obviously, it's like a first-person shooter. It's an immersive sim. People said it's got, you know, with the loop thing, it's got like roguelite stuff. But then I started hearing that, you know, it does give you these leads, and it, you know, it kind of helps you decide where to go. I get very edgy and very nervous when people start talking about roguelikes because it's just not a genre that clicks well with me. If I have trouble with like, say with Hades, you know, I get hung up, and if I just lose everything and there's no progression, then I have a really hard time. I know you mentioned that you can keep items to go back through. But as far as the story goes, you have to kill everybody in one day. Does the game really set you up to be able to do that without too much trouble, or do you really have to
Yes.
put in difficult, like a lot of work and effort to be able to get everything done, to get the loop done in a day? And because that's I guess my biggest concern with it is just having the skill or whatever to be able to get through everything and actually be able to complete the game.
Under this cap here is the smoothest brain in among us. Okay,
I
and
don't
I
know
was
about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's up for debate with Jonah.
That's a
But
debate next week.
I was incredibly intimidated by that as well, because yes, I never finished Hades because I kept restarting and having to start all over. The story progresses, so even if you're on a run and you acquire a lead but still get killed and the loop that day starts over, you still get that story progression. So yeah, it's very you know what it's got roguelike elements where you will lose all of your essentially all the items you haven't infused with the currency. However, it's also very linear in a way. There are missions, there are markers that and it's really good about guiding you. It's a fairly linear game, masked as a very sort of unique game design that lets you sort of gives you flexibility to tackle areas, to tackle whether you want to take on visionary leads or get your guys stronger and do arsenal leads to pick up new weapons and abilities. But it's a very linear game. I compared my notes with another friend that beat it, and we set up our leads in the same exact way. So there's a method in setting up those leads, and then once you acquire all the leads to do that, the game does a really good job at holding your hand and doing it. But
Cool.
still giving you the flexibility and choosing how you go about killing the targets.
Yeah. So follow-up question: being an immersive sim, like one of the biggest things about that is freedom. So if you didn't want to follow those leads, I mean, can you just kind of go off and do whatever you want, whenever you want? And, could you just stumble upon stuff yourself without following the leads, or do you have to follow the leads to move things forward?
You can stumble, so you could choose not to track the main leads, and that the markers just won't appear on your screen. And there are side activities that, like for instance, there's like a plane crash that you could go and investigate, and there are enemies there, and if you kill the enemies in the turret, there's like a stash there for you to loot, for instance. So yes, you can sort of tackle it on your own. I always track the leads because I like that direction.
Yeah. No, me too. But no, that sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds really elegant to allow players who want to kind of do their own thing to do it, but also have a system of guiding. I think of something like Outer Wilds, which, I love that game so much, but a lot of people bounce off of it because there's no direction. So that seems like a really good compromise. Jonah, do you have any questions, or are we good to?
Yeah, I
good?
don't really have any.
Cool.
I don't really have any questions. Yeah.
Brain's too smooth.
Those 2 minutes fly by. I'm like halfway through my notes.
Cool. Well, Wes, what do you think? You picking this thing up?
Well, I was very interested in the game before Dash gave the pitch, and I will say, actually, Dash was nice enough. It was my birthday recently, and as an unexpected treat, Dash actually bought the game for me.
Wow.
So
What a guy.
I'm not buying this game because Dash was so compelled with his pitch that he said, "Here, you have to play this game," and so I'm playing this game.
See, I thought it was a cheat, but he actually lost Wes's purchase. So I mean,
Jonah, Caden, check under your seats right now.
Oh my god!
Whoa!
Oh my god! Everyone gets Deathloop.
You buy Caden Deathloop, but he doesn't have a PS5.
Check under your other seat. Well, I think we're gonna have to pull Wes aside after the board meeting and talk to him about accepting monetary gifts from vendors.
This goes against your contract, Wes.
Yeah,
You're off the show.
There's potential
How do you think
termination.
I got the
another
guest spot,
location.
y'all?
What do you think, Jonah? Picking this thing up?
see, I've listened to a lot of opinions on this, and what Dash presented was really good, but I've always had a difficult time with Arkane. I like the way their games look. I just have a hard time playing them. I might get this game on sale, or if a friend has it, I might like borrow it, just give it a shot. But I've heard that like other people with similar opinions have been like, "Oh yeah, I went in with low expectations, came out really hot on it." So I'm gonna wait.
Wait, oh, I was gonna say, again, regarding Arkane, people have said this is the most accessible Arkane game. By the way.
Really?
But go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm not gonna buy it today, but you have piqued my interest more.
Very cool. Well, for myself, I love Arcane, and I've seen like sort of mixed reviews of this game, but like mixed on the high end, like 8 to 10 out of 10. So if it's like even half as good as people seem to think, and I just love Arcane. Even I know like seems like a lot of Arcane fans like Prey might be like the least revered one, but I even love that game. So yeah, this is a shoe in for me. The only problem like with all these games is just finding the time to play it,
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So next up to the pitcher's mound is the judge, the Godfather himself, Joda Gomez. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, guys. We just got done talking about an immersive sim, and I think I might have the ultimate immersive sim for you guys. The the ultimate stealth game, some might say. One of the wackiest games, some might say. A game with an interesting narrative. Today I am pitching Hitman 2. This is the second of the 3-part trilogy of this Hitman trilogy. Now, do you guys like going around choking people out and hiding their bodies, and then not just hiding their bodies, but stealing their clothes? So there's
Regularly.
so there's just naked people everywhere. Well, you can do that. You can do that in Hitman. And then guess what? Not only are you just taking their clothes, but that gives you access into specific areas that you can now enter and get different leads on finding your target. Some missions in this game, you don't even know what your target is. So you have to go around, skulk around, and find clues until you find out who your target is. And there was one mission where I figured him out. I brought him into a barber's chair. I was dressed up as a barber, and then I just slit his throat while I was giving him a shave. It's brutal and
30 seconds.
super fun to just like explore these massive open areas, find wacky costumes. Like you can dress up as a flamingo and walk through a racetrack and blow up a car and then walk away like nothing happened. That's it.
Flamingos don't look at explosions.
Hell yeah.
Not gonna lie, when you started your pitch, I thought you were about to bring like Metal Gear Solid 5. So
I mean,
like you got a question, Dash.
My question is that I played Hitman 1 and I have Hitman 3. Why should I play this over Hitman 3 right now?
One, you can get it for free on PlayStation Plus right now. So no money in. Two, once you buy Hitman 2, you have access to Hitman 1, 2, and 3's levels all from Hitman 3. You can play all of them in that version of the engine.
That's cool.
And you'd recommend doing it that way if I already have 3 to just do it in that.
Yeah, because you can go through and look at the story beats, or if you want to just play the missions, you can just play the missions that way.
So I know there's like multiple ways to like do each mission, but is like all the content in a mission available the first time you do it, or do you like unlock like new stuff by doing certain objectives? Or
I think Hitman 3 is the first one where you can go in and like unlock shortcuts for the future for future runs. But
Okay.
in Hitman 2 and 3, or Hitman 1 and 2, it's the same level as when you first started. You just got to find the leads, and then you can take said leads to do other, or do, like, you can do whatever lead you want from the get-go, as long as you
Sure.
run into the trigger for it. Or you can completely improvise, not wear any different costumes, not swap out of your Hitman 47 suit,
Mhm.
and you just go improvise your way stealth into like an area and take out your target.
Very cool.
What is improved about Hitman 2 over Hitman 1? For those that don't know, we did a game club on Hitman 1 earlier in the year.
Hmm.
So I think most of us played through that game for that game club. That was my first experience with Hitman as a series on the whole, which I really love.
Me
But
too.
what does Hitman 2 bring to the table on top of Hitman 1? Is it just the same old thing with new levels?
Honestly, it's a lot more of just Hitman.
Okay.
The levels are a bit bigger, and I'd say there's more leads per level because they are bigger. That being said, the budget on Hitman 2 did get dropped from Hitman 1, so when you're coming at it from like the narrative perspective, there's still like all the voice acting and whatnot, but the cutscenes in between each mission are just stills with the voice actors talking over it instead of fully animated like shorts.
They're reusing a lot of the assets from the first one still, right?
Yeah.
Like game assets.
Yeah, I think they use a lot of the assets for all of the games. So,
Right.
just to
Cool.
keep it
Well,
fluid.
for myself, like the fact that you can play all the missions from 1 and 2 in 3, like I know I'm technically supposed to just be purchasing 2 here, but if I can just play through 1 and 2 in 3 and treat it all as like one game, that sounds pretty dope.
Honestly, I almost
Especially
pitched 3, but I'm not done with 3. Otherwise, I
right,
would have.
yeah. But yeah, I think I'm picking it up, especially because it ports forward into the third game. That's like a pretty unique, cool system that I don't know a lot of games do.
Yeah.
But I only hear good thing about this series, and I just haven't had the time to dive into it. But it sounds super fun. So yeah, what
Yeah,
about you guys?
and the replayability on this game is just insane because
Hmm.
you can play the same mission and it feels like a different mission if you just do
Yeah.
different leads on it. It's insane.
I played one with you guys as well, if you remember,
Oh yeah,
on
you did
Game
play.
Club,
Yeah, you played Hitman 1 with us.
and I appreciate you guys introducing me to it. I remember, Jonah, you said you beat the first one in like pretty much a day. You just got like you just played it all like in one session. Could you do that with real quick before I make my decision? Could you do that with 2 as well? Is it about the same length?
Yeah, you could easily do that. Like I think you can just like there's 6 or 7 missions, and I think the fastest I beat one of them was like 22 minutes, and that was with me like exploring around and stuff. But if you just beeline like the leads they give you at the beginning, you can do it super fast.
Were you playing as Jonah or Juan Wick?
There it was just Jonah. I'm a bit more stealthy than Juan Wick.
So yeah, I own all 3 of them. So the big question for me is, am I going to play 2 before 3? And I'm so eager to play 3 because I keep seeing it on the Game of the Year lists. And
It depends on how invested in the story are you.
not at all. I just like
Then
mugging people for their clothing.
I mean the missions are fantastic. So if you want to just continue playing the missions in chronological order, you can, but if it doesn't matter, you just go play whatever you want to play.
I will say that even though I like playing things in chronological order, I will likely play 3 first, but I will revisit 2 afterwards in the 3 engine.
Heck yeah.
Very
Wes,
cool.
what you feeling?
Well, as Jonah mentioned, this was a PlayStation Plus game this month, so I don't have to buy it. I have it for free
Yeah.
already. So that being said, I was when I saw it come up for PlayStation Plus, I was super happy because I've been kind of eyeballing it every time I go to Walmart because I see there's a copy in Walmart that's sitting on the like discount games,
Nice.
bin.
Yeah.
And I'm like this close to pulling the trigger on all the time, and so now it's on PlayStation Plus. I've got it, so I will definitely play this game at some point when things die down a little bit. I've been kind of itching to get back in, and Hitman 3 as well. That's been on my kind of short list of things to pick up soon too. But no, this is
Honestly,
a fantastic series. So
honestly, it's really hard to pitch 2 without pitching 3, just because, like, with 3 being out, there's really no, other than like unlocking the levels, there's no point in getting 2, just because you can play it in the 3 engine. But I mean, the whole trilogy like holds each other's hands. Like, it's
but you still have to own 2 to play 3, to play 2 in 3.
Yeah,
you have to pay the money for it. So either way, you have to buy it without unless PlayStation Plus comes along, you know. But yeah, I will say though, Jonah, thank you so much, because now I have a complex of barbershops and racetracks.
All right, cool. Well, it's time for a dumb gaming tweet. So we got this one. As always, we're going to keep our tweeters anonymous because we don't want to send our extremely massive pool of tens of thousands of subscribers after them. But this guy says, I'm not buying Deathloop on principle at this point. Someone in the reply says, out of the loop, what's the principle? And he says, showing virtually the same trailer at every PlayStation event since it was announced and wasting all our time. And then like a week later, he retweets his original post saying he's not buying Deathloop on principle, saying, lol, I platinumed Deathloop. So, yeah, one thing I just want to talk about on this one is I don't really understand why. Like, it just seems really disingenuous to the developers to hate on a game because of its marketing cycle, because like it really doesn't have anything to do with the game or the developers, and doesn't really have anything to do with the quality of the game. And it just was kind of disheartening to see so many people taking a crap on Deathloop just because they showed it off so many times. But I mean, what do you guys think?
You know what? The nice
Oh yeah,
thing
you're
about,
one of the haters, Yoda.
the nice thing about this guy is he like, I mean, he ate his own words. He ate his own words. He's like, yeah, so I put this dumb tweet out there, and turns out this game's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
he didn't
nice.
say it was fantastic. He just said he platinumed it.
Well, I mean, how many mediocre games do you platinum, Wes?
I platinum almost nothing.
He's got platinums on NAC 1, 2, and
Oh,
3.
there's one game that like all I had to do was just keep pressing X on the controller to get like an easy platinum. So that was not a fantastic game, and I got that platinum. But very different story here.
How many games are you going out of your way to platinum that are just mediocre?
No, none.
Yeah, I'll say like obviously they had a marketing deal. Like the publisher had a marketing deal with PlayStation. PlayStation locked this game up as an exclusive for a year, and Arkane's never had the commercial success to match the critical acclaim of their games. So like developers are just trying to do what they're trying to do to get a game that, as you guys saw in my pitch, is a little hard to describe.
It is.
Is it a roguelite? Is it a shooter? Is it an RPG? Is it a stealth game? What is it? So I think they did show it in too many places, but some of those opportunities sold some fans, and other times other fans were sold. I know between us at NXS, I was sold by like, I don't know, second or third trailer, but it took like the 10-minute walkthrough for Kevin to be sold on it. And I just think that this game has the game's sort of response from the community, the toxic community mostly, has been a little divisive just because it's an Xbox Studios game now releasing on PlayStation. So you also get other people that will say, I'm not going to buy this. I'm going to wait 1 year when it's like on Game Pass and it's like the definitive edition. And it's like, you do whatever you want to do, but in this case, that person was all talk, and they ended up getting it anyways, which is just ridiculous.
Can I throw out a comment really quickly? So I just feel like there's no way for a company to win when it comes to marketing. I've asked this question time and time again, and I can't ever seem to get like a straight answer from anybody, like any source or any outlet that I've asked this question. I've written into podcasts and asked this question. Nobody wants to give me a straight answer, but you have a game like Deathloop, and people are complaining, we've seen this game too much. We've seen too much of this game. Blah, blah, blah. I don't like this. It's too much. Okay, you look at a game like Kena Bridge of Spirits. Where's the marketing on this game? Why isn't Sony marketing it? Where's the push? What's wrong with it? It's like, okay, so for Deathloop, it's too much. For Kena, it's not enough. So what is the right way to market a video game? Like, and honestly, when we're talking about Deathloop, Sony doesn't have, like, literally they just came up, we just passed the kind of like 1 year announcement of PlayStation 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like, what was it, June of last year,
Yeah.
where they kind of like unveiled it and they had that big showcase, and that was kind of the first point where we saw Deathloop. How many showcases have they had between now and then? Really, they don't do that many. It's been what, like 3? So maybe they showed it at each one. So they showed it 3 times, and that's too much. So where's the line?
I think what the issue was is they showed a lot of like each level in those 3 showcases. So like they ended up showing, let's say, 30 to 40 minutes of the game, and like maybe people just feel like, well, I've seen, like, that's how I was, because like when they first announced this game, I was super hot on this game. I was like, this game looks sick. I like the James Bond vibes that I'm getting from it. And then I just like, I kind of wanted to go in blind, but with how we are and we try to focus on like games media and these press events and stuff, I just feel like I was shown too much. But I'm not out there yelling from the tops of like buildings saying Deathloop's been shown too much. I don't like Deathloop anymore. It's just like, I need to get the opinions of other people on like what is good about this game, whereas I'm just seeing too much gameplay, you know.
But like, what is the right amount to show? I guess that's my question. What is the right amount?
I mean, I guess that varies from everybody, because
Yeah,
some people need to see a lot of gameplay to.
I'm thinking of like the Metroid Dread marketing cycle, because like for me, those trailers are just getting me hyped through the roof, and then other people are like, they've spoiled the whole game already. So it is very.
I personally have an
subjective.
opinion on that one, that maybe, I don't want to say that they're showing too much, but they're
Yeah.
putting like 2 trailers out a week at this point. I'm like, I'm just, there's a new trailer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch it. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, because
So,
I think it depends on who it is, because there's some people that just don't. They'll be like, oh, this got announced. Okay, I'll wait till it comes out, and I won't look at anything. And then there's some people where it's like, I need to get all the information as soon as possible. I need to read interviews, and I need to watch every trailer that comes out, and I need to try and talk to the developer on Twitter myself and whatnot. So I guess everyone's whiny about anything and everything.
And with Wes, it's either too much or too little, and you never hear like, oh, that was a moderate amount of trailers shown for this.
What a perfect amount of trailer.
Yeah.
Yo, was the Death Stranding trailer cycle the perfect amount of trailer?
You know what? Yeah.
Nailed it.
It left like they showed a lot, but it left so much mystery behind it. I feel like that's the issue with Deathloop, is there wasn't very much mystery afterwards.
Well, I am curious for Dash's opinion on that, since you played the game. I mean, I know Jenna has like an impression that there's not any mystery left, but from your experience playing the game after seeing the trailers, I mean, was there a lot that surprised you, or did you feel like there was not a lot left to surprise you?
I think in some ways that it's a tough game to market, because a lot of the story is told through the banter and the interactions you're having within the game. There aren't these big cutscenes, so it's not like a Final Fantasy VII remake where you have like 40 hours of cutscenes you could choose from and just like clip it in a really nice clip. So yes, there is a lot of mystery. It is a very rich world. There are a lot of really interesting characters that you don't get to see any of in the trailers. So there's a lot to uncover, but it's like not done in the most traditional way either.
All right, sold.
Okay. Well, maybe it wasn't such a dumb gaming tweet after all, and maybe it's more about the friends we made along the way. So.
Sparked some good conversation.
Yeah,
I like that. That was a good discussion.
Cool. Well, I'll pass things on over to the Game Master Wes.
right. So we're going to be coming back to our old trusty friend, Video Game 20 Questions. We all know how this game is played. We're going to be playing the speed version of the game. So I'm going to get my stopwatch up here. So we're going to go in order just to re-explain the rules. We're going to go Dash, Jonah, Caden. Dash, Jonah, Caden. So remember who you go after. You guys have 7 questions, and then you can pause for 1 minute to kind of talk amongst yourselves to see which direction you want to go with this. But you each have to ask one question. You get 30 seconds to ask your question. If you don't ask the question within 30 seconds, you lose that question and we move on.
Gotcha.
And
Does
you
Dash
have
Jonah Caden?
Dash, Jonah, Caden.
Okay, before we start, I nominate Caden as the one to guess the game.
What?
Because
Well, let's not.
I don't
Second
want
that.
I don't
Let's
want
not
you
lock that
guys
in.
I don't want you guys looping it all the way back around to me and I pick a stupid ass game again.
What if you know and I don't?
Well, I'll just be like, it's
Neither-
and then I'll just yell it at you. I don't care. I'll yell it
Okay,
at you.
okay.
Like, Caden,
Okay.
pick
I need the
this.
rough brain.
Maybe it'll
Right.
hit one of the
Alright.
small wrinkles in my brain.
Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
Nope. All right. We will start then. Dash, you have the first question.
Is this
Wait.
a 3D game?
Oh, sorry. I was going to catch you off, but
Oh, my
That's
bad. I was so eager.
sorry. Go ahead. Say that again.
I was waiting
was
for
your
Jonah
question?
to get back. All right. Is this a 3D game?
Yes. Jonah.
Did this game come out after 2016?
No. Caden.
Is this a platform exclusive?
No. Dash.
Does this game have multiplayer?
No. Jonah.
Is this an open world game?
Not in the sense that you probably are thinking. It's not an open world game.
Is this
Caden.
game? Would you consider this game AAA?
Yes. Dash.
Was it made by a Japanese developer?
Yes. That's 7 questions. You
Yeah,
have
let me recap.
You have 1 minute to convene. Go ahead.
So we know it is a AAA Japanese 3D game. We know it is not an exclusive, not open world, not multiplayer, not after 2016. So you could say it's a non-open world, single player, multi-platform. Yeah, it's got to be an RPG. So maybe something that's not quite open world, like could be something like Dragon Quest. Would you consider Dragon Quest open world? I mean, I wouldn't. It's like very kind of linear, you know.
Right now, what I'm kind of thinking is The Witcher 2.
Oh, okay. Well, The Witcher 3 came out in 2015, so it could technically... But it's not... No, those games aren't Japanese developed, Jonah. What are you talking about?
Oh, dang it. You're right. You're right. See, this is why...
And he said AAA. And AAA, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we want to narrow down the year a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. And just start
Before 2016.
just
so we
throwing
could say
off AAA Japanese
Okay,
games.
that's 1 minute.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Caden, you asked the
Dash did.
who asked the last
Dash.
question?
Dash.
Okay, so Jonah, you get to kick it off. Ready, set, go.
Did this game come out between 2008 and 2013?
No.
That was such a weird
Caden.
question. Does this game have Final Fantasy in the title?
No. Dash.
Does your character have a sword in this game?
No.
Oh.
Jonah.
Is he doing Yakuza again? Oh my
Just ask if it's Yakuza in the title.
Is Yakuza in the title of this game?
No. Caden.
Okay, I gotta fix Jonah's time thing.
That's where I was gonna go.
God, it's like, do I ask, did it come out between 2013 and 2016 since we have a gap in there? Or do I... Okay, if I do that, then we know it's pre-2008. So did it come out between 2013 and 2016?
No.
Okay, so it's pre-2008. Now we know. for
Ash.
sure.
Oh my god.
Did this game come out before 2005?
Yes.
Okay.
How much do you... Oh wait, he said you don't carry a sword?
Start asking genre questions. No sword, Japanese developed, AAA, single player.
2005.
Dude.
So that's like possibly... When did PS3 come out?
We said it's not a platformer.
5 seconds.
It's not platform exclusive, but we don't know if it was a platform or not.
Is it a
Time's up.
platformer?
I'll answer that. That was cutting it close, man. No, it's not a platformer.
Damn it.
Caden.
Okay, is it an RPG?
No.
Ooh.
And that's 14 questions.
What
Okay.
the
Right,
hell?
Japanese multi-platform.
Yeah, so let me recap for you guys. Came out before 2005. Japanese AAA single player, not open world, not exclusive, 3D, not platformer, not an RPG. Okay, when did PS3 launch?
2008? No, six.
So it's pre 2005, so it's got to be like PS2 era.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what-
Resident Evil,
Yeah,
Dino
what-
Crisis.
Ooh, Resident Evil is
Uh,
good for multi-platform. My problem was thinking of like PS2 era multi-platform games.
You know what? Resident Evil's pretty good just because you don't
Resident
carry
Evil
a sword.
4?
Yeah.
I'm going to give
Okay.
you a short hint.
Okay.
The game is no longer multi-platform. Or sorry, it's no longer single platform. So you guys were asking about multi-platform. At the time that it came out,
Resident Evil 4.
it was on one platform.
Yeah,
it's not many.
Resident Evil counts for that.
Resident Evil 4 was exclusive initially, and then it went to PS2, right?
Yeah, and then eventually.
Oh, it didn't
into
launch
everything.
on PS2 and GameCube? It was-
No, it started
No.
out GameCube exclusive.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
All right, so the next
All right.
question should just be:
Yep,
Is it
there we
Resident
go.
Evil?
All right, we're starting up. So are we? Let's
Hey,
see.
can-
Is
Can
it
I
back
ask
to Dash?
Can I ask a question? Can we
Referee.
like you asked? Does it have Yakuza in the title? Can you say stuff like, does it have Resident Evil in the title?
As
Is
long
that
as it's a
fair?
yes or no question.
You can
Okay.
ask that.
Okay.
As long as we're not saying, is it this game?
The
Gotcha.
timer's running.
Does it have Resident Evil in the title?
No. Jonah.
Dang it.
Sorry, Jonah.
Is there a large arsenal of weapons in this game?
Yes. Caden.
Okay. Oh my god, I can't think of a single question. Weapons, yes. Does this game have Metal Gear in the title?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Dash.
So
You can
Now
talk to
just
us. You
say-
got 30 seconds.
does it have
A 2 in the
Hey.
title.
Yeah.
3 in the title?
Yes.
Ooh, how many questions
Jonah.
we got left?
2.
2. Do you play as Snake in this game?
Please
Naked
clarify.
Snake.
Do you play as Solid Snake in this game?
No. You don't.
Oh, I don't know much about it.
He's not. Do you play as a Big Boss in this game?
Well, I guess technically later or he becomes Big Boss. So.
Wes is
Are
like,
you guys
Make
know
it
the game?
snake.
Just say it. Just say it. That's
Wait,
your
wait,
20
wait,
questions.
do
That's
we-
your,
do we
you're
have
out
one
of
more
questions.
question?
No, you're out of questions.
You were out of questions.
Guess the game, please.
Go ahead,
Alright.
Dash.
Is the game Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater?
Yes.
Someday
Technically, you
go to
used
the
all
woods.
20 questions to get that. So.
Oh my
Someday
god, dude,
you
that
feed
makes
Wow.
on a
that
tree
makes
frog.
I never thought, I never considered, the first 3 as multi-platform. But yes, I know that they did the re-release, the HD collection.
Yeah, it was on 3DS, dude. Like, how
Yep.
weird is that?
Oh yeah, that's right. It was.
Yeah, but my brain when I hear like AAA Japanese just goes to RPGs. So Jonah was clutch with the. You guys are both clutch with like the sword and the arsenal weapons, because then I was like, okay, not RPG. What else have we got? Ooh, that was a close one. I thought we weren't gonna make it, to be honest.
Yeah, I
So,
would.
Very close.
Woo!
we did it.
So fixated on Resident Evil 4.
I know.
I know. I
I
thought
mean,
we had it,
that's
dude.
kind of close if you think about it.
Yeah. It fits all the criteria except it's not Metal Gear. So
We really got to get Jonah to play Metal Gear.
yes,
I played 5.
dude.
I played 5. I love 5.
It doesn't
okay,
count.
well,
It doesn't
I
count.
mean, say what you will about Metal Gear Solid 5, but Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4 are just a different beast.
Sony, make it accessible.
Yeah.
See, it's just another reason Sony's trash.
Yeah,
They don't care about old games, man.
I do
Well,
want to
it's
play
really
the Metal Gear
Konami's
Solid
fault.
or the Metal Gear series. I just
Yeah.
I
mean,
it's so hard to.
Sony doesn't own Metal Gear, Konami does, so it's really Konami's fault. They're too busy porting Castlevania. Where's the Metal Gear? No. Look at a gift horse in the mouse. Well, I tell you what, guys. It looks like we made it. Ooh, is that like
Beautiful.
wrapped, dude? Is that shrink wrapped?
Oh
Is that
yeah,
shrink wrap?
this one's staying shrink wrapped. Yeah, this is
Oh
the
man.
Legacy collection that has 1 through 3, as well as Peace Walker and all.
I
the
had that
games.
collection. Then my PS3 took it.
Well,
down.
it isn't available digitally on PS5, but at least you can pop it in the disc drive and use the backwards compatibility, right? So
Yep. on the PS3, not the PS5.
I was joking. We made it, guys. Thanks so much, Wes, for putting the game together. It was always fun. Thank you so much, Dash, for revisiting us as a guest. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll just go around real quick for the final words. I'll let Dash go first as our guest. If you want to plug anything or just anything that's on your mind, go for it.
I got Returnal on my mind right now, and our friends Hunter and Sal are both dipping
Shout
into it right
out.
now and streaming it right now. So that's what's got me really hyped right now. We watched the stream last night, and I'm already harassing them about going online again so I can join his stream and watch him play Returnal.
Heck yeah, and that's the Brothers Pearson. I guess that's like twitch.tv/Brothers Pearson probably, but
and Sly
yeah.
Funky Monk for Sal.
Sly Funky Monk. Yeah, just good stuff. Hunter did a stream on Brothers Pearson the other day where he got drunk and did a lore through of Bloodborne where he stopped like every like 2 steps in the game and went on like a passionate monologue about the deep lore behind it. I don't think I've ever met anyone who knew as much about Bloodborne as him. It's really fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, and Sal, check out Awful Neutral. It's a D&D podcast, comedy podcast he does with some other dudes, and it's super funny. So yeah, shout out to those guys. Wes, final thoughts?
Yeah, if you're looking for a good PlayStation 5 game right now, check out Kena Bridge of Spirits. I had a great time with that game. I was thinking about bringing it to the pitch, but I think most of us have it already and are playing it, so it seemed like wasn't necessary to actually pitch it, but I just finished it and it's really great. So
Heck yeah.
and I usually try to drop another shout out. You already shouted out Brothers Pearson. I'm gonna shout out the Bearhemoth. He does amazing art. If you want some of those hot graphic tees with some of your favorite monster designs, go check out the Bearhemoth. He does some awesome Monster Hunter stuff, and some really, really great original kind of horror monster designs as well.
Yeah.
But he's just a great artist. He's a great guy. And check him out on Twitter at the Behemoth.
He's been doing this drawing challenge this month called Dead by Day 30, and every day he's putting out a cool sketch of an iconic horror villain, you know, Jason, Freddy, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool. So yeah, can't go wrong following the Behemoth. Jonah, final thought.
Just another reminder that after Metroid Dread comes out, we will be doing a game club on it, and that'll be in mid-November. But while I've got you here, I got something that's going to be coming up a little bit sooner. We are going to be doing our final Crowsmack giveaway for this fantastic piece of art. If you like Doom Eternal, we got this awesome poster that we will be giving out. Rob Hudak, I'm looking at you. I promise if he wins whatever giveaway thing we do, it's not biased. I swear.
Purely coincidence.
It's just coincidence. We are fair, I promise. But yeah, we're gonna have a giveaway in October for that poster. I don't know exactly what we're gonna be doing, but it will be something fun, probably spooky related, because it's spooky season, baby.
Oh yeah.
As always, we got our shows that come out on every other Monday. Sometimes we'll throw a bonus episode in there for you guys, but yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at is it Great Game Debate or The Great Game Debate?
It's just Great Game DEB 8.
Thank you, Wes. And YouTube at The Great Game Debate Podcast.
And at either of those locations, you'll find a link to our Discord where you can join us for friendly video game conversation. And time for shameless plugging. I always forget to do it at the beginning of the episode when people are still listening, but at least I remembered this time. But, you know, like, share, and subscribe. Help us out. My final thought is I feel like the Caden that you think you know is just a persona, and the true Caden only comes out whenever a new Monster Hunter comes out. And now that Monster Hunter Sunbreak has been announced, you can look forward to true Caden rising from hibernation next spring. So,
Hey, Austin.
So
His final form.
cool. Were you going to say something, Jonah?
I was gonna say something, and then I realized that it was super smooth brain, so I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for joining us. I've been your host, Kaden Birthday Late, and happy gaming. Bye.
Bye.
Later, y'all.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Riven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MIST_RIVEN 719 or on Bandcamp at Riven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.